Are you even listening to me? Gordon's voice cuts through the kitchen like a blade. Pans sizzle. Knives stop mid-chop. Andre, mid-shift and mid-breath, freezes. You people never learn, do you? The words drop like hot oil spitting, stinging, echoing louder than the clatter that came before. Andre doesn't respond. He can't, not because he's unsure, but because this has happened too many times. The voice, the tone, the venom wrapped in a sneer, it's all too familiar. A few line cooks glance up. One of them shifts nervously, then ducks his head. The pastry chef tightens her grip on a piping bag, her eyes refusing to lift. I said the risotto was overcooked. Do you think this is a game? Gordon shouts, stepping closer, face flushed, breath sharp. What's the matter? Too busy trying. To impress someone instead of doing your damn job? Andre opens his mouth, but nothing comes. His thoughts swirl, the heat of the kitchen now matched by the burning inside his chest. Gordon scoffs. Typical. The kitchen air is thick, not with steam, but silence shaken, suffocating silence. Drop the pan, Gordon growls, stepping in. Andre doesn't move. His hand clenches the handle like it's the only thing grounding him. Gordon lunges forward and grabs Andre's wrist, not hard, but enough to send a message. Enough to remind everyone watching who holds power here. I said don't touch a thing. You're done. Andre's eyes meet his, not with fear, not yet, but with disbelief, with a silent, stunned protest that never reaches his lips. The sous chef, 2 weeks in, flinches from across the room. She knows she plated that dish. She knows Andre didn't touch it. But her mouth remains shut, frozen. Go clean out your station, Gordon barks, or I'll have security do it. Andre's arm lowers. He places the pan down slowly, deliberately. The stainless steel taps against the stove like a distant warning bell. Eyes follow him. No one speaks. Not even those who have shared breaks with him, laughed at his jokes, copied his seasoning methods. Humiliation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it sounds like the absence of anyone willing to speak up. He always picks on Andre. Someone mutters under their breath. A whisper. That's all Andre gets. Not a defense. Not a challenge. Just a guilty observation. Barely audible over the hum of the kitchen fan. The others avoid eye contact, glued to their stations. One flips a steak too early. Another drops a spoon into a pot, a clang sharper than it should be. They've seen this before. Maybe not this blatant, but close. The comments, the jokes masked as kitchen banter, the extra tasks no one else got. And yet, no one moves. No one says his name. Fear keeps them busy, or at least pretending to be. Andre stands alone. Not just physically, but culturally, emotionally, professionally. And they all know it. His breath tightens in his chest, caught between pride and fury. He doesn't cry. Not here. Not in front of them. But his jaw clenches hard enough to ache. His hand trembles, the adrenaline rushing without release. This can't be how it ends, he thinks. 18 months of showing up early, covering missed shifts, watching trainees with half his experience rise above him, swallowing insults with fake smiles, and now discarded like spoiled produce. But beneath the hurt simmers something else, a refusal, a rising voice inside him that says, no, not like this. He doesn't know what's about to happen, but something has shifted. Not out there, but within him. The kitchen door swings open. Everyone turns expecting another order, maybe a manager. But instead, Michael B. Jordan.'s silence folds over itself again, denser this time. He walks in slowly, eyes scanning the room. No smile, no announcement, just presence. Focused, steady, unshaken. Gordon blinks, thrown off. Andre's eyes lift. Someone whispers, why is he here? But no one answers. Because something deeper than star power just walked in. Something heavier than fame. Something that makes even the heat of the kitchen feel cold, and whatever's coming next won't be quiet. Ma, you eat today? I had something earlier, baby. Warm up the spaghetti, all right? Andre's voice was barely 12, but already tired. He stood in front of the old microwave, punching in numbers while the hum of the Food Network filled their small Chicago apartment. While most kids watch cartoons, Andre watched chefs battle for glory. He didn't understand every term, but he understood hunger, both the kind in his stomach and the kind in his soul. His mom would get home near midnight, uniform stained, eyes heavy. Still, she'd smile when he told her about the meals he wanted to cook someday. One day, Ma, I'll make you something no microwave can touch. Just promise me you'll never stop chasing that one day, baby. He didn't. That promise was carved into him every burnt meal, every cold dinner, every quiet night lit by the flicker of a borrowed dream. He earned his way in no shortcuts, no favors. Scholarships, side jobs, sleepless nights. Andre poured his ambition into every sought pen and textbook. His instructors noticed, though the world often didn single quotes T. Graduation day. He stood in his pressed coat, diploma in hand, his mother in tears. It wasn't just paper. It was proof. Proof that a kid from 63rd and Cottage Grove could rise beyond what the world expected of him. When he got the job offer from Mason to Fire, it felt like destiny finally called his name. This is it, he told himself. This is where it all begins. But sometimes beginnings look a lot like illusions dressed in stainless steel. Andre quickly realized the kitchen wasn't just hot, it was cold in all the wrong ways. The executive chef nodded at his resume, but never asked for his opinion. A white intern who couldn't hold a knife straight was promoted after 3 weeks. When Andre suggested a flavor pairing during menu planning, Gordon chuckled and said, "Maybe stick to prepping the wings, Andre." He laughed it off. First, one night, a guest waved him down. Andre approached, thinking it was a compliment. "Busboy, someone spilled wine at our table." No apology followed, just expectation. As if his apron told a story, it didn't. The front staff often passed along tips, but rarely to him. His ideas? Ignored. His presence? Tolerated. It wasn't violent. It wasn't loud. But it was there, unmistakable, like a bitter aftertaste you're told to ignore. "You should be grateful," someone once told him. "At least you're in the room." But Andre didn't want to just be in the room. He wanted to own it. 18 months. That's how long he'd been invisible. Early mornings, late closes, double shifts without complaint. Still no promotion, no raise, no credit when his dishes wowed the crowd. The sous chef once praised Andre's filet right before presenting it as his own. "Don't make noise," Andre told himself. "Keep cooking. It'll pay off." But each day, it felt like his dream was slipping through grease-covered hands. His passion hadn't died. It was just tired. Now, back in that kitchen, with Gordon's voice still ringing in his ears. Andre wasn't just tired. He was boiling. Every insult, every dismissal, every be grateful moment, they'd piled up. Quietly, like embers under steel. And today felt different. What if we add roasted chestnuts to the risotto? It could bring out a richer texture, Andre suggested, voice steady but hopeful. Gordon barely glanced up, his smirk curling like a blade. "Stick to frying chicken, Andre," he muttered. Loud enough for the kitchen to catch, soft enough to deny if challenged. A ripple passed through the room. Some froze mid-motion. Others swallowed hard. The insult wasn't just about cooking. It was a jab at who Andre was expected to be. Andre's jaw clenched. The words stung deeper than any kitchen burn. It was the first time the invisible line between chef and servant cracked wide open in front of everyone. Still, He didn't respond. Not yet. He swallowed the bitterness, knowing that every word here weighed more than flavor. It carried the weight of expectations rooted in prejudice. Minutes later, the new sous chef fumbled a plating, the sauce spilling unevenly across the dish. Caught the mistake instantly, but before he could speak, Gordon's eyes zeroed in on him. "You need to be more precise, Andre. This kitchen doesn't tolerate mistakes." No one looked at the sous chef who'd caused the error. No apologies followed. Andre's pride burned hotter than the stoves, but his voice was swallowed by the oppressive silence. The message was clear. His skill meant little. His presence a convenient scapegoat. The room held its breath as Andre nodded, masking the sting with a forced calm. Inside, frustration bubbled, but the fight wasn't over. After a relentless dinner rush, Andre wiped sweat from his brow. Instead of a break, Gordon's voice cut through. "Clean the grease trap. Interns usually do it, but you're special." Andre hesitated, disbelief flickering in his eyes. "Why me?" No answer came, just a pointed look. The message wasn't subtle. He scrubbed it in silence while the sous chef passed by, avoiding eye contact like an unspoken confession. The grease and grime clung to his hands, but the real weight settled deeper into his pride, his dignity, his hope. Every task beneath his talent chipped away at his spirit, reinforcing a hierarchy fueled by unspoken bias. That night, Andre sat alone, fingers trembling as he drafted an email to HR. "I'd like to discuss ongoing workplace issues. .. He wrote, heart-pounding. Days passed. No reply. A coworker pulled him aside quietly. "They protect Gordon. Always have. Don't waste your breath." Andre's stomach sank. The system wasn't on his side. The official channels meant to shield him were locked tight, barricaded by fear and favoritism. His hope for change flickered, but refused to die. Weeks later, a renowned food critic arrived. The kitchen buzzed with nerves and ambition. Andre crafted this special dish himself, a delicate balance of flavors. Painstakingly prepared. When the critic took a bite, eyes widened. "Brilliant," the critic whispered, savoring each mouthful. But as applause erupted, Gordon stepped forward to accept the praise, basking in the spotlight. "Thank you," Gordon said smoothly. "But it's a team effort." Andre remained in the shadows, invisible to the crowd, his name unspoken, his work erased. The taste of success was bitter now, tainted by stolen credit and silent injustice. Late at night, in the locker room's quiet, Andre stared at his reflection. His hands were raw from hours in the kitchen, but it was his voice that felt bruised. The long silence had fractured. Something inside him was ready to roar, if only he could find the strength to break free. "Pass me the scallops." Andre's voice cut through the chaotic kitchen noise like a conductor's baton. Orders flew in relentless waves, but Andre moved with calm precision, catching mistakes before they snowballed, redirecting cooks with quiet authority. Even those who once doubted him couldn't deny his skill. A sous chef glanced his way, nodding subtly. The line was humming because of Andre's steady hands. Though the kitchen was a pressure cooker, Andre thrived in the heat. This was his moment, the one he'd fought for since childhood. Yet beneath the rhythm, a quiet storm brewed. He knew respect here was fragile, conditional, and the higher the stakes, the easier it was for it to shatter. A server appeared, holding a plate returned from table 6. Gordon's eyes snapped sharp. "What's this?" Without waiting for explanation, he grabbed the dish, marching toward the line like a predator seeking prey. Andre met his gaze. "That's not mine. The new sous chef prepared it." Gordon scoffed, voice low but cutting. "Doesn't matter. It's your station." The kitchen is still. Everyone sensed the trap unfolding. Andre felt the cold edge of injustice slicing through. The buzz of orders. Gordon's hunt wasn't for truth. He wanted a scapegoat. Andre's heart hammered, knowing this moment wasn't about the food. It was about control, about keeping him in his place. Gordon slammed the return plate on the counter, inches from Andre's hands. "This is on you," he growled, eyes blazing. "I didn't cook that dish," Andre said evenly. "Misu's chef." "Did. Liar." Gordon spat, voice rising, sharp enough to slice through the stunned silence. "You're lucky. I even let you in my kitchen. You should be thanking me." The words hung heavy, packed with venom, disguised as authority. The staff froze, caught between fear and disbelief. The dining room quieted. Even the clatter of cutlery seemed to pause. Gordon leaned in, voice louder now. "Get out. You're done here. Go back to flipping burgers or whatever you people do." Andre's mouth tightened, but he stayed silent. Each phrase was a gut-punch racism veiled in power. Humiliation broadcast to every witness. His dream, years in the yard, making unraveled in that electric moment. Yet beneath the pain, a fierce fire flickered. He wasn't defeated yet. Phones rose. The glow of screens pierced the tension. A woman gasped softly. Another's eyes darted away. Whispers stirred shame, uncertainty, helplessness. No one moved to intervene. Witnesses transformed into silent spectators, caught in a grip of fear and discomfort. Andre stood exposed, the weight of countless silent voices pressing down. This wasn't just workplace racism, it was public betrayal in real time. Social media would soon explode with clips, hashtags, and debates. But here, now, the bystanders held their breath, locked in a cage of complicity. Andre didn't flinch or cry. His hands fell slowly to his sides. His eyes, once bright with hope, now dulled under a cloud of humiliation. Memories flashed: late nights, studying recipes, his mother's sacrifices, dreams forged from struggle. All of it felt torn away by one man's cruelty. He wasn't broken, just stripped bare, vulnerable in a world that refused to see him. The silence around him roared louder than any insult. This was more than rejection. It was erasure. But deep inside, a quiet defiance stirred. He wouldn't disappear quietly. Suddenly, the kitchen door swung wide. Heels clicked sharply on the floor. Heads snapped around. Michael B. Jordan stood there calm, unyielding, silent. His presence shifted the atmosphere. Instantly. The storm of Gordon's words hadn't settled before a new force arrived. No smiles. No announcements. Just a gaze that promised reckoning. The balance of power wavered. For the first time that night, the room held its breath, waiting. Michael B. Jordan's footsteps echoed sharply through the stunned kitchen. Every eye was fixed on him as he approached the man who had ruled this space with fear. He stopped mere feet from Gordon, calm but unmistakably commanding. "Hey, Gordon, remember me?" Michael said, voice low but cutting through the silence like a match igniting dry tinder. The words hung heavy, charged with unspoken history. The staff exchanged shocked glances. This wasn't some random visitor. This was a reckoning. For the first time that night, Gordon's confident smirk faltered. The atmosphere shifted, thickening with anticipation. Michael's presence wasn't just a surprise, it was a warning. Michael's gaze swept across the kitchen, steady and unwavering. "I'm one of the silent investors in this restaurant," he began, voice measured, "and I've been watching closely." The room fell quieter. "Someone came in undercover," he continued. "Our new sous chef isn't just here to cook. He's been reporting every injustice, every whisper of discrimination." Eyes widened. Pieces clicked. The staff whispered among themselves. The truth they'd sensed but never spoke now had a name. Michael's words exposed the hidden eyes and ears silently documenting years of systemic racism and abuse. "This wasn't a random visit," he said, "but a carefully planned moment. Because the truth doesn't stay buried forever. Gordon's jaw tightened as the walls closed in. A power dynamic cracked, revealing the foundation of lies beneath. With deliberate calm, Michael reached into his coat and pulled out a thick folder. Placing it on the prep table with weight dot inside were undeniable proof screenshots of emails ignored. Complaints dismissed without action. Videos captured moments of blatant mistreatment, Gordon's harsh words, and Andre's silent suffering. Testimonies from current and former employees documented a pattern of abuse, a culture that condoned discrimination and punished those who dared to challenge it. Michael's voice was steady but filled with gravity. This is more than isolated incidents, it's systemic. Whispers erupted around the room as people flipped through the evidence. One after another, the pages told a story of silenced voices, ignored pleas, and a leadership that thrived on oppression. The folder wasn't just paper. It was a verdict, proof that Gordon's reign was built on fear and injustice. No longer could anyone deny the depth of the problem. The kitchen, once silent with fear, now buzzed with a fragile hope. Change was no longer just a dream, it was a demand. Gordon's face was drained of color. His confident mask cracked. "This is a misunderstanding," he stammered, voice shaking but desperate to reclaim control. But the room was no longer his kingdom. Colleagues he once intimidated now looked away with disgust, even his closest allies. Edged back, their silence a tacit betrayal. "No," Michael said firmly. "This is accountability." Gordon's power evaporated in the heavy silence, replaced by a suffocating isolation. The staff, once cowed, now felt a collective strength rising. A man who ruled through fear was exposed not as a leader, but as a symbol of systemic failure. His voice faltered. But no one listened. He was finished. Michael turned to Andre, his gaze unwavering. "You want to lead this kitchen tonight?" The question hung in the air, both an offer and a challenge. Andre blinked, caught off guard by the weight of the moment. This was more than promotion. It was a reclamation of dignity. The chance to rewrite a story, marred by injustice. He straightened, the fire rekindling in his eyes. "Yes," he said, voice steady despite the whirlwind inside. Michael nodded, a quiet respect passing between them. The kitchen watched, sensing a new era dawning. Andre wasn't just stepping up, he was stepping into his power. The energy shifted palpably. The chef stood taller. Orders flew with renewed precision. Pans clanged, but now with purpose, not chaos. The toxic silence shattered, replaced by a chorus of determined voices. Andre led, not just with skill, but with a vision rooted in justice. Under his command, Pia Jean. Kitchen wasn't just surviving, it was rising. The heat was different now. It was the fire of change. And this time, no one was backing down. The board wasted no time. "Gordon, your conduct has been reviewed thoroughly," the chairwoman said, her tone void of sympathy. "Effective immediately, you are terminated. Number. Protests, no excuses." A crisp letter was slid across the table, his authority stripped away like peeling paint. Gordon's face twisted, disbelief morphing into silent rage. His eyes scanned the room, but no one met his gaze. "You're done here." Michael's voice cut through the tension, calm but unwavering. Escorted out without fanfare, Gordon's exit was a cold punctuation mark on years of unchecked abuse. Behind him, the kitchen held its breath, knowing a dark chapter had closed. But the story was far from over. Within hours, the video ignited a firestorm online. Black Chef humiliated, but justice served in real time was trending, globally shared by millions hungry for truth and hope. Celebrities riposted, influencers discussed the raw footage, and interviews poured in from media outlets spotlighting Andre's strength. Comments flooded in, stories of workplace racism, calls for systemic change, and praise for the courage to stand up. The world watched not just a kitchen, Drama, but a powerful statement on racial injustice. Resilience and accountability. Andre's name became a beacon, reminding everyone what dignity looks like when pushed to the edge and how it rises back stronger. Andre stood tall, now commanding the very kitchen where he was once silenced. No. Yelling, no fear, just clear, confident direction. Let's focus on precision and respect, he told his team. Voice steady with the weight of earned authority. Every command carried the promise of fairness and opportunity. His leadership wasn't about power. It was about transforming pain into purpose. In this space, excellence flourished alongside integrity. Kitchen had a new rhythm, one built on trust and vision. Andre began hiring voices once unheard. Diverse chefs, new perspectives, finally, representation that mattered. He launched mentorship programs, investing in talent without bias. This is about growth, he said, for every one of us. The toxic silence dissolved, replaced by support networks and open dialogue. The kitchen became a place where ambition thrived, free from fear. Aspiring chefs saw a future, not just a fight, and slowly the culture shifted from exclusion to empowerment. Evening, a customer approached quietly. "You're the guy from the video," she said, eyes warm. "My kids watched that clip for strength." Andre smiled softly, the moment settling deep inside. It wasn't easy, he admitted, but fire doesn't burn, it forges. Her words echoed what he'd come to understand, that his fight was bigger than himself. It was a legacy of resilience, inspiring the next generation to stand firm against injustice. Andre reflected quietly. This wasn't just about a kitchen, or even racism alone. It was about carving space where none was given, about standing tall when fading away seemed easier, and proving that real justice doesn't shout, it endures. The fight continues, but so does hope. What would you have done? If you were in Andre's shoes, how would you have reacted? Would you have walked away quietly, or stood your ground against the injustice? Think about that for a moment, because sometimes the hardest battles happen when the world isn't watching. Have you ever witnessed racism in your workplace? Felt overlooked, disrespected, or dismissed just because of who you are? You're not alone. This community is built on shared struggles and the strength to speak up. We want to hear your story. Your truth matters. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Every single word is read and valued. This space belongs to all of us, because change begins when voices come together. So if this story moved you, hit like, subscribe, and share it with others. Keep the conversation alive, because silence has never been the answer, and your support keeps the fire burning for justice.